Welcome back to the Rock Hall Debate, where we debate the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. In today's episode, Mariah Carey. Let's roll that disclaimer footage.
As always, we're just having a little debate back and forth. It doesn't necessarily mean this is what we think or what our personal beliefs are. We're just laying down the foundation for you to form an opinion on as well, and whether or not you think these artists deserve to be inducted in this year's class for the Hall of Fame. Kev, you are the pro for Mariah, so take it away.
Mariah Carey might not scream rock and roll to some people, but the Rock and Roll Hall is more about influence, impact, and artistry than fitting in the box called rock. And when it comes to influence, impact, and artistry, Mariah checks all those boxes. Top, the voice, 5 octaves. Her vocals run literally redefined pop and R&B singing in the 90s. There's a whole generation of singers, Ariana, Beyonce, Christina, who studied Mariah. Second, she wrote most of her hits. You know, she didn't just show up, sing the songs. It isn't a Joe Cocker situation where she was just doing other people's stuff. These were what she was feeling. Vision of Love, Fantasy, Always Be My Baby. And of course, All I Want for Christmas Is You, probably one of the top 5 Christmas songs ever. She co-wrote them all. You know, and every year, she is the queen of the season. When you think Christmas now, you think Mariah Carey. When in the 70s, when you thought Christmas, you thought Bing Crosby. She took that mantle from him and moved in one. And beyond that longevity, you know, I mean, she still isn't around. There's been some flops, that weird movie she did. I can't even remember what it was called, but I mean, she definitely deserves it. And they need more women. 8% of the inductees in the Rock Hall are women, only 8%. So that's where we are. What you got against this girl?
Yeah, that's pretty sad. Only 8%. We do need more women in the hall. That's ridiculous. I mean, look, the Christmas point of that alone, that I mean, feel like she should be at least in the Christmas Song Hall of Fame and
Oh,
the
definitely.
I mean, she does belong. I will say, like, speaking of that, like the Pop Music Hall of Fame and the Songwriters Hall of Fame and just about every vocal performance Hall of Fame you could name, she belongs in. Whether or not she belongs in the Rock Hall, that's a little different. She's very, like, she's an iconic pop artist, yes. One of the best selling performers of all time. You mentioned her influence on pop, R&B, and vocal performances. I mean, it's undeniable. She introduced a generation to the melisma style of singing,
I
which you can
never knew it
find,
was called that. I never knew it was called that.
which is basically what everyone on American Idol does now. And like every, you know, so in that influence, yes, definitely. She broke chart records. She penned timeless hits. You named a few, like Hero, Fantasy. Like, the fact that you could write a new Christmas song is pretty spectacular in today's age and make it something, an instant classic, right? Like, I mean, it's right there with those classics, which is that's what blows my
It
mind.
always existed. It was like it always existed. The first time you heard it, you like, I know this song. I've
You're
heard
like, is
this
this a
song
cover?
before.
You're almost like, this is a cover, right? Like, it has to be a cover because nobody just writes a new Christmas song these days. And the fact that it felt timeless, and yeah, you may get sick of it every year and hate it, but it's still, again, that's crazy talent. Anyway, when evaluating her overall fit for the Hall of Fame, I think you have to separate some of these things, like the musical greatness from the genre specific impact. And that's where her case kind of starts to fall apart. I think over time, the hall has expanded out to, you know, we've talked about, to include genres like hip hop and
Soul and
soul and, you know, Run DMC, Madonna. They got in, but they also brought an attitude and like a cultural disruption feeling to rock and roll, which is kind of a definition in rock and roll. It's not just about what the music is, but it's about that genre rooted in rebellion, guitars, emotion, cultural upheaval, what rock really is, right? And she's very contrast to that, as far as she's operated primarily in the polished R&B spheres. She's thrived and done top of queen of that genre, but hasn't really expanded out and hasn't really crossed over like Tina Turner or like Prince or somebody who fused rock, soul, funk to create something
She's
innovative.
way too clean cut. I think
Very
part of that
clean cut,
problem
and
is
I think
she's
she
very
always
clean cut.
wanted it that way. That's her image, that's her style, that's her like diva-esque kind of who she is. But her catalog is notably absent of some of those rock elements. So I don't know. That's kind of where my argument is against it. I mean, again, her cultural impact is enormous.
Where
Fashion,
do you put
mainstream
her?
pop.
If you frame her like that, then you're framing her like an Ella Fitzgerald or an Aretha Franklin, who was very much. And I think as much as Ella is, my God, my favorite, and Aretha is up there, they were all covers. You got to throw in the fact that she put pen to paper and expressed those words.
That's again songwriting. It's an impressive thing that she writes those songs and is, I mean, carries the vocal significance that she does with her own songs. You know, like it's not like she has, you know, a lot of times it's a writing partner or somebody that writes those songs and then she goes out and sings them. That's not the case with her. So that is true. She does have that 1-2 punch, and that is huge. I just feel like again, it's so rooted in that technique, fashion, mainstream pop culture dominance, not really an evolution
Studio,
of rock
never
music.
live. Never a
Or
live thing with her.
yeah,
It
and
was
even
always
the
glimmer,
glitter.
with the
Yeah,
movie, something like that.
yeah. The movie, right? Yeah, and she
And it
tried to
flopped.
expand out into that stuff, but you know, she never really, I mean, she inspired pop artists and you know, like some of those females you mentioned, but again, nobody in sort of the rock side of things, and never redefined the boundaries of the genre, even in pop, of what it meant, right? She just has a really great voice and kind of like Whitney Houston-esque, like very poppy, very in that zone. So if that's all the criteria is and songwriting, then yes, but I feel like there's more to it, and there should be more gravitas to getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and not diluting it so much. So that's where I feel she falls a little short, but
Okay,
uh
that's fair.
generational. I mean, and look at her
Right.
longevity, to your point. She's been around and continues to be around, and like you said, every holiday season she's
She was in a commercial last year.
doing
Let us
holiday
know what
concerts and stuff. So
let us know what you think. Leave a comment, whether she should be in or not. Tomorrow we're gonna have Billy Idol. He's next up. Make sure that you check out the playlist where we hit everybody else, and like, subscribe, become a member.
see you on the next one.